Hello, welcome to game 2 of my match against Terracubist. I won the first game, so I'm pretty happy about that. Let's see what we can do in game 2. There is a lot of stuff going on right now. I have the 5-2, which maybe is not that good. I kind of want to do Bonfire Sewers Open, which I saw recently in a match. But since I can't do that, I think I'm going to open... I could open for Cavalry. If I don't find an estate, then I get a shuffle at least. If I do find an estate, if I don't find an estate, I get a shuffle. I get a Lackeys if I do find an estate, or I could open Stonemason for like Market Square, Secret Cave. It seems pretty reasonable. I'm gonna start cramming in actions to try to pop this lamp off, then hopefully get the Bonfire Sewers stuff going the next shuffle. But that gives me a whole ton of uniques, and then Lackeys is a nice 2-cost. If I had 3-4, 4-3, I would probably open Bonfire Sewers. I don't know, in 4 I would consider going Stonemason for 2 Lackeys, and then like Sewers, and then plan a Bonfire the next turn. We've got a bunch of Lackeys. So the plan here, after getting clean, probably looks to be Groundskeeper stuff. You can get Groundskeepers. You've got villages and draw. You want to get a bunch of Groundskeepers, and you can gain a bunch of estates in a turn with like Artificers, plus buy with Workers Village, Market Square. It's a little bit of fun stuff you can do with Bonfire, Market Square, Stonemason, and Stonemason Cavalry's like into 2 estates when you've got some Groundskeepers in play. I anticipate the Lackeys pile is going to run fairly quickly. Lackeys are always nice to have. You can always Bonfire them or Sewers them away if need be. Because we're going to be wanting to trash things along the way so we can get golds. We'll probably grab a bunch of Workers Villages, Cavalries. Werewolf is good draw as well. So there's like a lot of pieces here. I did not go through my whole pyramid before we started playing. Sometimes Magic Lamp games are like that. There's like 2 kind of clear things you want to do. One is get the Bonfire Sewers thinning. The other is get the Magic Lamp popped. And then you transition into what your deck wants to look like, which is, you know, a couple of Workers Villages, a couple of draw cards, a bunch of Groundskeepers, maybe a couple of Artificers. You've got like the Cave, the Market Square. Anyways, you end up with random Stonemasons anyways, because if you hit 7, obviously you Stonemason for 2 5s, that kind of stuff. If you hit 6 at some point, you could Stonemason for like Workers Village Cavalry. That seems nice. If you have 4, you could Stonemason for like 2 Lackeys. And then later you can Bonfire the Lackeys and discard Market Square for gold, so like money is not much of a problem. This seems like it's going to be a fast kingdom. Wow, I am completely confused why they bought Workers Village. I guess I'm just going to click Lackeys because that's the plan, but I'm utterly confused. Okay, so with 4 here, I think I'm just going to grab Sewers, and then next turn look to Bonfire. I've got 2 cantrips down there in the Stonemason. So I should be able to get pretty thin, and then potentially even pop next turn. Yes, we need to have 3 money to Sewers, so I'll probably Secret Cave, play 3, Bonfire 2 coppers, Sewers trash the Stonemason, and discard the Market Square for a gold, which is another unique, giving me enough uniques potentially to hit my Magic Lamp on turn 4 or 5. I really don't understand the Workers Village Open. I was going to say was I don't know why you just like don't Stonemason for 2 Lackeys and then buy a 3rd Lackeys. That seems pretty reasonable to me. They bought a Cavalry. They hit 4, so they bought a Cavalry. That makes sense. I guess it makes sense. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. They have a Workers Village. They have a Lackeys. They have Copper. magic lamps. They don't have a 5th unique, or a 6th unique, so they can't actually pop the lamp this turn. I will play the Secret Cave. I really would I rather trash an estate or buy a gold? Gain a gold is the question. And I think I would rather trash an estate. So play the Market Square. Bonfire 2 coppers and trash the estate. And I get to trash the Stonemason as well. Yeah, that seems like it worked out pretty well. So I've trashed 4 now. So I'm quite thin. I probably only need to do 1 more trash. This is an awkward 3. I think the best card for me is just another Lackeys. Or I can just Bonfire the 2 coppers, trash 2 estates. Yeah, that seems way better. Oops. Wanted to trash 2 coppers. Okay. So I don't actually have enough uniques now. I actually have to buy something here. I probably should have considered that before I got this far. So I can play the Market Square. I just leave that on top. Play 3 here. Buy a silver. That seems fine. Silver is a reasonable card. I've got the Secret Cave on top. So unless I bottom deck more than 1 card, I'll pop it next turn. So silver here. Next turn I draw a deck, pop lamp. I'll have 6 money or 5 money, so I can buy a werewolf. Probably is reasonable, or I can buy a cavalry, gain and play the things. Yeah, okay. So silver, yeah, I can buy a cavalry to gain and play the wishes, which seems great. They're loading up in the Lackeys, which makes sense. They still are very far behind on trashing. They've got 1 village that I don't have. So we'll see what they decide to do here. I still don't think they have enough uniques with cavalry, copper, and so they only have too many Lackeys in place. They still don't have enough uniques to pop the lamp this turn. So I'm gonna have 5. I'm gonna pop the lamp. I'm gonna buy a cavalry, potentially, and then I can start wishing for things. Probably need to wish for like 1 village, maybe 1 artificer, or then buy like another Lackeys, and feel like I'm in pretty good shape there. I don't have enough uniques to keep to trash the Market Square for gold, but I can try to work that out next turn with Artificer or with Bonfire or something. I can trash these 2 remaining coppers potentially. I'll also have more Lackeys, I think, than I have need for, because you want to build up a supply of villagers probably and use the Lackeys for short-term acceleration, but then you'd rather be drawing, I think, with Werewolf, the other one. Vampire, the card, looks completely different than Werewolf, the card. Okay, so I assume they're thinking about how to add unique cards to their deck, which is something they need to do. They have 13 cards I'm not looking at, 7 coppers, 3 estates, Stonemason, Cavalry Horse, something like that. So they're Stonemasoning the Cavalry. Yeah, this is something they can do to add uniques potentially. It gets a little bit of trashing done as well. So yeah, this is nice. They can get 2 trashes, trash 1 estate, and then gain, like, again, probably what I did in my open Secret Cave Market Square as 2 unique cantrips that you can use to activate the lamp next turn. They still have a horse, and they could buy a cavalry, but I don't think they can get around to a shuffle. So it looks like they're probably going to try to do that next turn. What do they have in their hand? 2 estates and 2 coppers. Maybe they just saved the horse for unclear reasons to me. I'm almost at the point where I could discard 3, but if I bottom deck the silver, I would be very sad. I can trash this copper now, which I guess I will. I'm not going to get tons of chances to do this. Okay, so if I buy the cavalry, I draw 2 wishes or wish and cavalry, which seems pretty nice. So now I can play the wish. The card I wanted to add was Artificer. Artificer draws a wish. Wish for Artificer. Artificer draws a wish. Wish for Werewolf. Play Cavalry. Knight. Werewolf. Question is, do I want to get like another? Yeah, I think I want to get one more Artificer and then start wishing, and then start try to hit 7 next turn to gain. How do I hit 7 next turn? This is a good question. To gain, I could also gain a gold and try to Stonemason that next turn. Could like gain a gold. Yeah, gaining a gold seems reasonable. Okay, so that's my horses, and now I can like Stonemason for Lackeys, Market Square. That does not work. Stonemason for 2 Lackeys, or Stonemason for... Yeah, Stonemason for 2 Lackeys makes sense to me. I don't know, that felt like I underutilized my wishes and I could have done more. I am a little bit further trashed than they are. The other thing to note is that this game is ending fairly quickly. Like, the Lackeys pile is going to be gone in 2 turns. The Stonemason pile can empty at any time. So I need to be really careful to make sure I'm not leaving open a pile out, especially when they've got 3 wishes coming. Yeah, what they've got 3 wishes coming means they could, like, you know, wish for golds, duchies, good stuff. My plan this turn is to Stonemason the gold into like Werewolf, Workers Village, something like that. Maybe Groundskeeper and Workers Village. I think I need a little bit more draw. Werewolf, Workers Village, and then gain a gold with my Market Square. So I'm constantly refreshing that, adding village draw, keeping the payload constant, and then can add up during my buy phase. I should be able to hit 7 here and buy Stonemason, like 2 Groundskeepers potentially, to start threatening to score a ton of points with estates. So I assume, well, we'll see. I assume they can discard because they have, yes, their build seems to be working out fairly well. They're able to pop the lamp here. And they can do the same thing I did with gain and play. So they're only a turn, a turn behind me, and as second player, that's where they need to be. I'm still not quite sure why they bought the Workers Village, but perhaps they are in a bit of a better position than me. I will have as my saving grace that I have 5 villagers still. They don't have any. I don't have a village yet. And I have the 2 artificers. So if they wish for like 2 artificers and, something. They have 6, so they can even Stonemason for Workers Village Cavalry, which I could have done if I didn't trash that last copper, but I didn't think about it long enough to decide if that was good or not. And I don't know, people can let me know after the game if they think that was good or not. I guess one thing about the Stonemason Workers Village Cavalry is there are draws. It's harder to draw through. I said I was going to Stonemason Gold. I can consider Stonemason Cavalry as well for like 2 more Lackeys. Okay, so they gained 1 Cavalry. They haven't even gained the Stonemason yet. So they either drew 2 Wishes or Wish Cavalry. And now they can gain the Workers Village. Okay, they just drew everything. Which makes sense. Maybe the Artificers were just not doing much for me. I don't know. I think they can still be pretty valuable in terms of pile control, but Stonemason for gains and Market Square for buys is also quite valuable for pile control. They have villages now and a lot of terminals, but they have a village, and they're going to gain some more, it looks like. This one seems close to me. I think they may have a slight edge in having built faster, but I still have, I think, a little bit of pull because I'm first player, which is always nice to have in Dominion. So I get really concerned, like, if your opponent uses like their wishes on a whole bunch of high-valued pieces, so like golds and 5 costs. The more wishes they spend on 4 costs, the better I feel about where I spent my wishes. Obviously, like, wishing for gold is nice. I probably could have gotten a Market Square gold. I think the mistake that I made looking back on turn 5, I trashed 4. I wonder if I should have just bought something. I had 3 money. I could have bought a silver on turn 5 and maybe popped on turn 6 and trashed the estates in other ways, but my deck was not thin enough to guarantee drawing. I'm going to start trying to find a pile outline. It doesn't seem like even close to possible, even with the 2 wishes. Like, if you Stonemason a 5 cost and a 2 calves, you can get a ton of gains. One is also concerned that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. They've got a cav in hand, 2 calves in hand. So, like, they have a lot of terminals and not a lot of villagers. So they did wish for Artificer, so they kept pace there. Conceivably, they could discard the 2 calves for a Lackeys, and then play Workers Village, play Cav, play something else. Yeah, I think I probably could have done that a little bit cleaner on my turn. So trashing that copper was maybe a little bit over aggressive. I don't know. I feel like I'm in good. I feel good about the fact that I have. Oh, they only had 1 cav in hand. They already trashed the other one. Well, I'm slightly confused. They didn't buy. Yeah, so they have in hand a Cavalry and a Wish, I believe. So they're wishing for a Werewolf. Yeah, this is what I had thought about last time. You want the draw card. They're a little bit more precarious draw situation than I am. Or villager situation than I am. Okay. So they have spent their wishes, which is good for me. I have to find down here my Lackeys. Go ahead and discard 2 now to gain another Lackeys, just so I've got a little bit more draw space. Okay, so bottom 2 cards of Cavalry Lackeys. So I think I'm going to draw these now, or I can Stonemason. So I'm Stonemasoning a gold for 2 Workers' Villages, or Workers' Village Werewolf was the plan, I think. Could even be 2 Workers' Villages. Since I need to add villages. Well, not trash quite yet. Definitely getting 1 village. The question is, do I want to get a cavalry now or another village? I think 2 villages is good, and then I can Stonemason for 2 groundskeepers. And I don't think they're at pile threats at this point. They've got 2 golds, they've got a couple coppers, but they can Stonemason a 5 cost and a 2 4s. I guess I should consider if I need to score here. They've got 2 Stonemasons. So they could Stonemason 2 5 costs into all the cavalries. And then they would just need 4, 8, 10 to pile out. I still need to get 2 more cavalries, though. I don't think that's possible. So I think I'm going to grab another Workers' Village and plan on this game lasting another 2 turns. Okay, well, I can play the Cav now and seed a horse on top. All right, so with 8, the plan is to go Stonemason for double Groundskeeper. And I've added some draw. The Groundskeepers let me add a bunch of estates. I think the alternative is I just try to win next turn. So what cards help me win next turn the most? Stonemason. So I can Stonemason something. I can't really touch the Lackeys. I can't really touch the provinces either because, I mean, if I get a province, they just build. And my deck is not as good as theirs. They've got the extra gold already. So Market Square could help. Or I can plan on Stonemasoning like a cavalry next turn. Or Stonemasoning 2 5 costs. So like Stonemason for Groundskeeper, Werewolf. The Groundskeeper does not help me win. So Werewolf. My brain is going to hurt soon if I think about this one too long. So Stonemason for 2 Groundskeepers. And if they don't pile out, I can just grab a bunch of estates next turn. I feel pretty good about myself. Plan on Stonemasoning a cavalry or something. I'm not incredibly convinced by that line, but they are probably going to need to Stonemason for Lackeys here, with the number of draw cards they have and the lack of villagers. I'm also a bit low on villagers. I may need to Artificer for Workers' Village, especially because I don't anticipate there being any Lackeys left in the pile. Although, again, if I could just Stonemason 2 5 costs into cavalries, a pile out is not that difficult. Again, barring the fact that I need some amount of... I don't actually have to play many of the Lackeys, though, because Stonemasoning a 5 cost for 2 cavalries draws 4 cards. And so it takes 2 actions, but I draw 8 cards off of it. And then I would need 6 plus 10 money to pile out, which I have 8 money in my deck, so I need to add 2 money somehow. Potentially a discard with a stone, discard a Market Square for a gold along the way. So that gets me to 11 money. So if they were to take 2 Lackeys here and not score at all, I could pile out potentially, although that sounds like a losing tie, what I just described. I would need to buy. I would need to hit 12, so I could also buy an estate. That's assuming they don't do any, they only touch the Lackeys pile. If they touch Stonemasons or Cavalries, things become different fairly quickly. So again, they have a lot of lackeys in their hand. They're lowering workers' villages as well. I'm not as concerned about workers' villages piling, but we seem close. I assume this is 2 lackeys. They could go lackey Stonemason, try to draw and play the Stonemason. They've already played one of their market squares, but they have another, so they can gain golds. It doesn't seem impossible that they have a pile out here. Now that I'm thinking about the gain and play Stonemason, I didn't think they had enough village effect, but it's possible that they do. And I should have just taken the province last turn, or like 1 estate. So like, you know, take gold estate or something. As lame as that feels. So they didn't. Yeah, they get 2 actions. So they take Stonemason lackeys. They draw into it. They Stonemason the gold for 2 things, for two cavalries. Discard the market square again. Get another lackey's Stonemason. Yeah, this pile out seems like it's here. I would be more sure if I saw their hand. I believe they have 3 golds in hand. 3 golds and a couple of coppers. I'm not sure why they trashed the lackeys. That seemed like a mistake to me with the source. Trashes the lackeys with source. Like they could have just kept it if they're winning this turn. So maybe they don't have a win in hand and they're just going to do something else. But yes, that doesn't feel like they're piling unless they're going Stonemason for Stonemason 2 cavalries here. But I just, and they have a market square still. Did they bottom deck the market square? I'm not quite sure. Seems possible if they Stonemason 2 golds. If they Stonemason a gold, discard market square, then grab 2 cavalries. They draw everything, then they Stonemason another gold, discard the market square for 2 more cavalries, and they just buy the last Stonemasons in an estate. With 1 gold in play, that means they have 2 golds to work with. The fact that they hit end actions leads me to believe they're not able to win this turn. But I think... Oh, wow. Okay. So we lead on a horse. I'm definitely going to play... We're going to need villages this turn. So what does it take to win? Stonemason for 2 Stonemasons. And then... So like, do I have it here? If I Stonemason Groundskeeper into 2 calves, Stonemason Artificer into 2 calves, I'll draw 8. And then I can... Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a win here. Stonemason Groundskeeper for 2 calves and gain a gold. And I will draw a little bit. I do have some villagers down here, or a village down here, I'm pretty sure. So I should have a village as one of my bottom cards. Okay. So I can Stonemason Groundskeeper for 2 cavalries. Guess I need to play the lackeys for draw. Or I could stop here. I could Stonemason the Groundskeeper for 2 cavalries. No, so I can stop here by Stonemason 2 cavalries. That gets me, that takes 6 of my money, but it draws everything. Then so this is 9 money. So I play lackeys, I Stonemason cavalry, I have 5 buys. I need 4 plus 10 plus 11, 12. Stonemason for 2 cavalries seems like it gets me there anyways. So Stonemason for 2 cavalries, and I'll have 9 money. I'll have 3 money left, 5 money left. And then I can... I'm really confused here. I'm struggling with myself. Stonemason for 2 cavalries. I'll have 5 money left. And I'll have drawn the market square. So I can play the market square. So I can play the market square. I can then Stonemason. Okay, so if I just play the Lackeys, Stonemason the Groundskeeper into 2 cabs, I will draw the gold, and I'll have 12 money, and I can buy cav. 4 Stonemasons costs 4, and an estate and win. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me undo. I did this order wrong after thinking about it all that time. Sorry. Okay, Lackeys. Stonemason Groundskeeper for 2 cavalries. Now I can play all the things. Buy cavalry, buy 3 stonemasons, and buy some estates. 3 pile. Whew, not sure why that took me so long. It was a bit of a crazy one. I think that was entirely first player. They built a better deck, and I was just first player advantage there. They maybe had a little bit more they could have done on their turn, but I didn't see their draws, so I'm not for sure. We move on to game 3.